Hello, everyone. Welcome to the flashback stream of the 2015 St. Louis match, first match of the club history. And today, in the first half, I'm joined by Magnus Rasmussen. He holds the first goal of the franchise as well, if I'm not mistaken, with that game. So,
True.
Magnus, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready to dive and watch into this game. So without further ado, let's just get it started.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready, and it looks like the
Cool.
teams are ready.
Is this kind of a little bit of a nostalgic kind of feeling to watch this replay back?
Definitely. I mean, when we're going into this game, it's two brand new clubs. St. Louis is it's St. Louis's first professional game as well. So from the beginning of this game, you could just feel the intensity and the atmosphere. Everyone wanted to have success immediately. It's two brand new clubs where it's two squads full of new players with clean slates. Everyone wants to have success. Everyone wants to play well and win with the new club, new team. So there was it was very intense, especially in the beginning. And just watching it back here, it's just, yeah, it's awesome. So it's great memories.
Absolutely. It's really fun to revisit a bunch of these with the members who were respectfully in this game as well. And then when you first heard that the venue for the games are going to be at Slugger Field on the baseball stadium, what was like the first impressions?
Well, actually, yeah, we were told not that long before the game that we were going to play in a baseball stadium, and we all thought that, okay, we're going to play in a baseball stadium, but it's going to be all grass. So when we had our first look at the field and parts of it was turf, all the players were just as surprised as all the other players that has ever since visited Slugger Field. We thought to ourselves that this can't be happening. I mean, we can't play on turf like this. But again, it was out of our hands as players. So, you know, James always said, control what you can control and just let everything else that's out of your control go. So that's kind of what we did, and we tried to play through it, and I guess we beat it to Turf Monster in some way.
It's always good to get the bearings, especially on a weird surface. I mean, I don't understand. I'm assuming it's just like a roll-on for how they did it. And like,
yeah,
how different was the surfaces like as a player?
It's very different. I mean, I think they just rolled that turf carpet-ish onto the dirt. So whenever you're running from the grass into the turf, you have to slow down quite a bit, because otherwise your studs are going to go through the turf and you're going to slip.
We don't have the best seats in the house for doing the broadcast, but
very interesting to see. I mean, you can visually see it, so I just didn't know, like, in terms of how gameplay went. Was that really a factor? Or I mean, you mentioned that James was preaching on the control the controllables, and I'm assuming mentally that wasn't a factor for you guys.
I didn't expect a quick goal.
Exactly. I mean, we can control the surface that we're playing on. That's higher up in the club. It's their decision to try to
run on the
make
outside
the best.
there.
Well, it's a little, yeah, it's Matt Fondy, but it's very laggy on my screen.
I gotcha.
I don't know if you can change that, but like I said, yeah, James told us just to prepare mentally, that control what you can control, and if it's out of your hands, just, you know, instead of getting all upset, just try to get the best out of it. And I think that's a mentality he planted into the team, and we worked through it.
Does that existing mentality that built that culture back then still exist with the team today?
Definitely. I think I think that was a key foundation for the type of player that we wanted at Louisville City. I think James had some very strict. Uh, he has some very strict. How do I say that? He knew what type of character he wanted in his team, and he didn't want to compromise at all, even if it was a really good technical player or fast player or whatever. If he couldn't understand that character was more than just being a good soccer player, you wouldn't fit in the team. And I feel like ever since he has been scouting, or the coaching staff has been scouting players that would fit our environment and our work ethic. Um, and I think when Coach Hack he came in and saw our culture, he was impressed, and he was very happy that he was gonna keep building on that. And I think he has done such a good job recruiting for the future as well.
The Coopers, Louisville's supporting group.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the current situations, we're not able to open up Lynn Family Stadium quite yet. Back then, when the first game actually happened, did you ever expect the club to be gaining so much traction that they would have a single sport-specific stadium as close to downtown as it is in that quick of time?
In that quick of time, definitely not. I believed in the club's visions of getting, the University of Louisville fans and the UK fans. I feel like we brought them closer together by being the one professional team in Kentucky. So I felt the vision and I believed in it. Did I think that the stadium would be built in 5 years and we would have 2 championships and 2 conference finals and 1 USL final on top of that? Probably not that quick, but I was very confident in the vision and the team, so I knew we were good enough. But it's just amazing to see that it grew on people and on this town, on this city so fast, and we were able to get it out of the get it out. Get it out of the ground and get a stadium right there.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that even though we're not in it right now and we'll be in it later this year, that it's amazing about the leadership group that happened there. But talking about the gameplay here, you guys, the team really
It's a little
was
laggy on my end here, Kyle.
Okay.
It's very difficult to see. It's jumping.
There was a lot of physical play in this match. Could you what was like, was the idea just to gain back ball control and just push an offensive attack up with the physical play?
I mean, our game plan was from the beginning that we wanted to control the speed of play. We wanted to control most of the ball, and obviously you're not playing 11 cones on the other team, so they're going to make it very difficult on you. And as I said earlier, the intensity of in this game was on another level because it was the first professional game for both of the teams. Us at home, St. Louis being our closest rivals, and we had this thing called the King's Cup back then. So obviously the intensity of the game was just full of nerve and everyone wanted to win. So in the beginning of the game, there was a lot of physical play, a lot of sprints. Players really wanted to show that they were the right fit for the club and they really wanted to have success with the team.
And then I'm assuming that tactically, that's what James O'Connor was looking to get out of his squad for this match, was just the idea of repressing on defensive.
Well, yeah, obviously that was one of the tactics. If we lose the ball, we win it back as quick as possible. But more so, he prepared us that it was going to be a very physical game. and that we just have to match that. And if we can match that, our football will come through.
Ready to go. Well, it looked like he was about ready to go. Slowed it down.
And if I'm not mistaken, the start time was actually pushed back a couple of hours of this match. Could you speak upon that and what your thoughts were on that decision?
Actually, I can't recall that if it was pushed back or not.
Seems like he's getting more pressure.
Gotcha. And then in preseason, this specific year was quite interesting for you guys as well, with the weather conditions and what was happening.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, we all came to Louisville in the beginning of February, and it was just snowing and snowing and snowing, and we were not able to train outside. So actually, we started Mockingbird for, I think it was a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, where we just had double days on those, indoor soccer fields, which was very different from what we were used to playing outside and on a big field. Suddenly we had to get our style of play and getting on the same page on a smaller field. So I think that we did our best, but the more important was that we got to a fitness level where we wanted to be, so we could perform and match this high intense game that we're watching right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The level of energy and just the tenacious play that's just being exhibited too it really shows that the fitness levels are there, and just the physicality is great. Were you kind of do you personally like to play with that extra level where the ref lets you guys play on a considerable amount?
I think the referee has to take care of the players, but I mean, it's a fine line. When is it too aggressive and when is it fine? I like when, the game has a bit of nerve and it's not, only the referee blowing the whistle every other minute. I mean, that kills the game completely. So the referee letting, players be hard on each other without being nasty. I think, yeah, I like that, because I like when the game is flowing and you can get in spaces and you can get away from your opponent. I play offensive mid, and I live of that I can lose the defender and show up in spaces where they don't expect it. But if the referee is blowing his whistle all the time, the game stops, and suddenly the defender got time to look over his shoulder to see if I'm there or not. So for me, I like when the game's flowing, and I think for the fans and for everyone watching the game, that's just so much more enjoyable to watch and to play as well. So definitely, I think that the referee should set a tone and stay there.
Very, very good point. Speaking of setting a tone, this game was just a mark of what Louisville City was going to do in terms of their success later down years in the league. With the real strong, lasting core with you and Niall McCabe still on the team, did the success for the two clubs come from the pre-existing core, like you guys staying together and having really good chemistry?
I don't know if the championship came directly from that. I would like to believe so. I felt like when I left the club to go home for a year and I saw the team won, I was really happy, because I genuinely felt like, even though I wasn't in Louisville that year, I definitely felt like I was a part of that, because we have just been working so hard for so long, in a completely new environment. We all came from somewhere else. I think on the championship team the first year. Only Richie and I think maybe only Richie and Chris was from Louisville. Everyone else was from out of town, and were only in Louisville to compete and to represent the team. So
it would have been a ball, but
so yeah, huh?
A shot high there. We're getting a reset. For people who don't know, the view that we are actually watching is a ball and play view that cuts out the downtime, so it gets right back to the action.
They caused a turnover,
Yeah.
but gave it right back
So.
to St. Louis.
I'm honestly just really excited to get back resuming, even though with all the situation happening at the brand new stadium and just off to the start that the season was gonna do. The idea there is just making the mark right off the bat. Has that always been a continual trend with the team?
On the dirt, but
Say that again.
So just setting the tone early in season for. Is that always part of the culture, or is that just a natural occurrence that
Oh, the goal's coming up. You see this? I remember this one. I've seen this goal so many times. So it
was
starts
a beauty
with
of the goal too.
Yeah, it was very nice. It starts with everything about it is just really good. We make a mistake and they try to counter on us. And Juan Guzman, he makes a beautiful interception where he slide tackles but gets the ball under control. Then he drives forward a little bit, and Matt Fondy, he gives him an option, pulling back a little bit. And when he is pulling back a little bit, he drags that center back out, which creates this massive space for me to run into. Then Juan Guzman uses Fondy as a wall pass, so he can give the ball the right tempo when he passes it in behind, and it's just a perfect ball. And I get to it first, trick the defender a little bit, let him.
Yeah, it was a very good outside controlling touch to go back in. It was beautiful.
I see him coming, so I let him think that he might have this under control. So when he bites, I try to take it around him, and it worked. So it was just really nice, and it was just such a release for the whole team, because as you can see right now, the tempo is just flying. It's back and forth a lot. It's very physical. So getting that first goal was just such a relief for the whole team that, okay, now we got our first goal in our first home game in front of our new fans, our new family. Was just such a great feeling.
Yeah, and when you saw the Coopers just erupt on the far side after that goal, what was your feeling? What was the energy that was in that stadium, especially down on the pitch?
Well, it was just awesome. It was something special because the Cougars has been there from day one, and they're still there supporting the team. So I didn't know that we would have that many fans in the first game. I mean, we didn't know how many people would show up to the game. So when we saw that, okay, there's a decent crowd here when we're about to walk into our first game, obviously there's a little bit of a nerve there, and you want to perform, and everything gets a little tense, and the game is flying back and forth, and so getting that goal and seeing the Cougars go crazy was just a relief, and we could kind of breathe out and say, okay, we got this. We can play here in front of these fans.
Yeah, it's seeing that purple smoke billow after the first franchise goal will probably be a lot of memories and a lot of fans, and especially for you too, I can imagine.
Comes from Magnus. On just a beautiful
definitely.
Absolutely beautiful goal.
So you and Niall being in the first game and still here to this day, what's that connection like still?
We've been through a lot together, and actually I think Cameron was on the bench as well in this game, or did he do his knee already before the first game?
put a
I
little
can't
bit more
remember.
pressure on them. And it could
But
open the
Cameron
floodgates to
Lancaster,
St.
he was
Louis season too.
he was here
No,
as
it's an
well.
absolute dream start for Louisville City. And
So
again, we
he
said
only
Fonte
left for
would be
1
the
year.
going back to St. Louis.
We all
But
know that
Magnus Rasmussen
as well.
in
So
preseason had
actually
some
we're 3
absolutely stunning
players
goals.
left that has been here
Really
from the
worked well
beginning,
with
and
Fonte there, but
I mean
Rasmussen
we have been
did it
through
all
so
by
much
himself
together.
almost.
So obviously
He absolutely
we're
did
just
it by himself
brothers,
there.
all of
And
us.
St. Louis is doing a
Really,
good job of staying
it's
on
that
Fonte,
simple.
marking him, make sure he's never alone.
We've been through a lot of ups and downs.
Again,
We've lost
through ball and St. Louis before he
conference
took a chance
finals.
on the
We
ball
have
with
won
Magnus, got
championships
beat.
together.
Beautiful
I
soccer
mean,
play.
you can't really put a tag on that. We're just mates.
Absolutely. And then when LouCity decided to re-sign or get Lancaster on a loan again for this season, what was your initial reaction to hearing that news?
Well, I just called him, asked him what's going on. I was excited that he wanted to come back, and he was as well. So it was great news. Obviously, he had a really impressive season, and he totally deserved to go to the MLS. I'm not sure of the circumstances, how that experience was when he was in Nashville, but on my end, I'm just glad that he's on our team. That's for sure.
Absolutely, it's another weapon up front for the team as well.
That'll be a goal kick. It looked like it took a deflection off Szymanski from
So during the little downtime with all the memorandums going on, what have you been doing to remain in shape and be training and game ready?
Looking for anybody trying to make
Well,
bad result for the
I'm
United
not with
States.
I'm not in Louisville
right
at the
now.
moment. I'm in Denmark because my wife is pregnant, and the club was very kind and understanding about the whole coronavirus situation and telling me to go home and take care of family. So I'm just in daily touch with our physio Stuart, and he's just planning different exercises and different workouts for me to complete, so I stay healthy and I stay sharp and ready to whenever this situation is
There's a turf
calming
monster right
down
there that
enough.
you're speaking of.
Yeah, exactly.
Got one of the St. Louis guys.
Yeah, sometimes it helped us out. Sometimes it was very unfortunate against us, but I think overall we didn't benefit from it, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I think it evened out in the end.
Mm-hmm. Would you rather attack or defend with that fixture on the side?
I think I'd rather attack against the turf monster because, as you see, the defenders are a little bit afraid of slipping. So are you as an attacker. You can't really cut that much. But I just don't really like when, if it's slippy and you're playing around your own goal. Yeah, I don't like that. But again, it's the same for both teams. So control what you can control. You have to defend there for 45 minutes every game. So you can only do so much.
Mm-hmm. That's a very fair point. The line play.
I know as well that a lot of teams says, "Oh, it's because of the turf monster and everything." But if you're looking from our point of view, we had to play on that every other game, where we couldn't really keep our feet on the ground as good as if you're on grass, and the other teams, they only had to do it once a season. So yeah, you can say maybe we could adjust a little bit better, but at the same time we had to deal with that every other game this season.
Very good point. Good pass to Fondy. Actually by you right there in the middle for a good run. Goes for a corner.
Yeah.
Keeper controls it. But well, what was that front line like who are just pushing that attack and getting a lot of shots on frame there? How was that how did that play into how you usually like to play?
It played into my hands completely. I really like to find the ball in good areas and try to see if I can set my teammates up or get a shot off myself. So having, you know, Niles, very mobile, runs a lot of meters. Kadeem, very fast player, runs a lot of meters, works hard. Matt Fondy, his work ethic was amazing as well. Never stopped running. So having 3 players around me going forward with that high of a work ethic, it's just awesome to play with, because when they're doing the runs, I can complete the passes. If there are no runs, I have no one to pass to. So us getting forward that much and just having lots of options all the time, running off each other and wanting the ball is just awesome to play with.
Another turnover there from St. Louis gives control back. Do you have any like
well, as you can
favorite
see, like whenever we are playing St. Louis, they're trying to press us, and sometimes that causes turnovers. And whenever we're turning the ball over, we're doing just the same to St. Louis, trying to win the ball back. So the tempo really never felt in this game. It was just so intense because it was the first game and we just wanted to win so bad.
Yeah. Do you have any like any favorite memories or pretty funny stories from this season that you want to share?
From this 2015 season?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we started out in preseason playing a few college teams, so we didn't really know, because James, he wanted us to focus on our tactics. Not saying that college teams are not good, but there's a difference in college teams' approach and professional clubs in preseason. So we could focus a little bit more on our tactics and get to know each other. We could possess the ball better and learn each other, how we play and who's good together and all that. And James, he would try different combinations and find whatever was best. But then I remember him at some point we were at Mockingbird and it was just enough with the snow, and finally we could get outside, but it was on Assumption turf. I don't know if everyone knows Assumption turf, but it's not the greatest turf, but I mean, it's better than being in Mockingbird, that's for sure, when you're trying to play 11v11. But so we're warming up for this 11v11 training match, so we can get some real size football in. And while we're warming up, there's this big black cloud. I've never seen anything in my life. It's just slowly getting closer and closer, and suddenly it's just all dark and it's pouring down rain, it's pouring down hail, and James is like, yeah, it's going away in 2 seconds, it's all good. And me and the other Europeans, we'd never seen anything like it, so we're just like, okay, this is apocalypse. We're about to. This is it. It's gonna end before the season even starts. And it was lightning, thunder, and eventually James, he had to call off practice for a little bit, but then the storm moved around Louisville and we're back to practice. So no apocalypse, but that storm was just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it ever since. And you can ask Niall about it. It was something else.
I'll have to. I wanted to hear his side of it as well. Good save there.
Yeah.
Restart going again. The restart
that was
very...
a topic. Yeah, that was a topic that whenever they have a go at goal, and if Scott he he could catch them in the counterattack, see if he could just slide it out to one of our midfielders or one of our
I get sometimes you have to take chances like that, hope
defenders, and we
something
could
comes.
start a
But
quick
again,
build
McKay
up.
could have been more patient.
That would be preferable.
Could have been more patient, or
I mean,
maybe tried to work for
that was just a prime example of it. That what just happened there on the quick tempo restart. That ball made its way upfield for a cross that was unfortunately blocked. But it's a testament to the tempo about how you guys and the fitness levels as well. Again, it's
I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to relay to you all how much time will be left on stoppage time.
And then Bursley racing down towards the end line, trying to.
Good defense there. Goes for a goal kick.
Goodwin taking it quickly, sends it over to Reynolds.
But you can see Scott Goodwin passes it to our center back, I think it's Tarek Murat, and immediately he's just under pressure. He passes it out to Adam West, and then he's under pressure, and he has to see if he can get behind him. He finds Kadeem good here. A little unlucky with the cross.
But he had space. He had room to run.
So yeah, it's a fast pace and lots of turnovers, but that's what you can expect when the tempo is that high.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. The battles for second balls as well are just very physical as well. And just getting that. What was the key there in approaching a second ball?
Well, it was just we knew that second balls would be big because there would be a lot of battles, a lot of duels, and maybe you can't win the first ball every time, but if you battle for it, there's going to be some kind of second balls, and if you don't get any second balls, you're under pressure all the time. So
Scott with an excellent save there. I think that was whistled offside. I think that is the first half, though.
Yep, there it is.
I'll do a Scott ending that first half with an excellent save, and then you ending it with the first goal of franchise. Well, thank you again for coming on. We will hear from James on the second half. Magnus, do you have any other closing remarks that you want to share with us?
Nothing else. Then I hope everyone's that are watching are staying healthy and trying to avoid gathering together too much, try to limit the spread of the coronavirus, and I hope everyone is staying healthy at home, and I can't wait till this crazy situation that we are in is over and we can get back to our normal lives and hopefully soon play in our beautiful new stadium.
Absolutely. Magnus, I want to thank you for providing a little bit of input on that game, and everyone else. We will be right back after a couple messages with the second half.
To our Kroger associates, for the long hours and late nights, for the miles traveled and the shelves restocked, for making a difference in our customers' lives, for doing so much more than your job. Everyone at the Kroger family of brands and our customers say thank you. In a time when daily life feels a bit uncertain, your hard work is keeping America fed. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Front loader odor. You know that smell when you open your funky front load washer? But at GE Appliances, we've engineered the first and only front load with an ultra-fresh vent system with odor block. Equipped with vents that help keep it dry and antimicrobial technology that protects against bacteria. Basically, funky to fresh, so you can shut the front door.
No one says that.
Another way we make good things for life. No.
Since 1923, COSAIR Charities has shown children their potential instead of their obstacles. So they see the world as a place of possibility, where great things can take flight. When you support COSAIR Charities, you help elevate every aspect of a child's life. Together, our kids, an entire community, can reach new heights. There's so much more to do. Join us by donating today.
When you need a vehicle you can count on, trust Toyota to be here for you.
People are getting back out there again, and Toyota can help you out today and years to come with 0% financing for 60 months on legendary quality vehicles like RAV4, Tacoma, and Camry. And we can defer your payments up to 90 days or get you a great lease like this RAV4 for $199 a month.
It's our promise to you, today and tomorrow. Toyota.
Welcome back, guys. After halftime of the LouCity versus STL FC flashback match. After halftime today, I'm joined with James O'Connor, head coach at the time and now executive vice president of development. James, thank you for joining me, and how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hopefully quarantine's been all right for you guys.
Yeah, we're just about surviving.
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to sum up what's happened in the first half just to catch everyone up to speed. Magnus has scored the first goal, giving LouCity a 1-0 lead in the 23rd minute, and that's the only action has happened, no cards. And with that being said, we're going to hop into it right away.
Louisville Coopers and the St. Louligans, then the answer is yes. And we are underway.
It doesn't make sense. The rivalry has to be formed based on what happens.
So James, when you were kind of like starting the development of the club and figuring out, was it kind of weird to hear that the venue for the game was going to be at a baseball stadium?
I don't know you, but I don't like you.
I mean, I sort of sat with, well, it was actually with Wayne originally, and then some of the other owners. And I think the baseball stadium wasn't necessarily a shock. I think I remember on this particular day the time, and it was kicked off at 2:30, and I remember the time of the game had to change because of the March Madness and the basketball. And at that point, obviously, I'd not been to Kentucky, so I'd not sort of didn't have a good understanding of just how big basketball was at the time. So I couldn't understand why a professional sports team was basically changing its kickoff time because of a basketball game. So that was the biggest memory that I had when we first arrived here. But obviously, then getting a better understanding, having lived here, of the I would say the culture. Obviously, I had a better understanding then of the reasoning behind it.
And dispossessed by Louisville City.
I just didn't know because there's been a lot of sports specific stadiums being built, especially at the time with the early inception of the club. That I mean, was kind of odd to have in my mind at least, to be playing on a baseball stadium, especially with the change of surfaces and then the temporary grass that's on the dirt. Did that really play into the game play at all?
Not necessarily into the gameplay. I think it was a case of, very much from our standpoint, it was, just no excuses. We didn't want to hear, or allow the players to make any kind of excuses around the turf. I think for us, it was very much a case of, 90% of the field is grass and is fine. It's definitely a little unusual having a mix of sort of field turf and synthetic. But I think for us, we weren't able to control any of that. So for us, it was very much a case of, okay, well, look, let's make sure that we we pass the ball, we do the right things, and ultimately try and win the game.
Foul right there onto Niall McCade, gets the ball in for a goal kick to restart the play. And then is there any specific memories from this first game that you have that are really vivid and stand out to you still to this day?
I remember Magnus's goal. I remember it was pretty early on where he scored, and I think just for us, relief that we were able to get the goal and basically just settle everybody down. But I do remember it being a great occasion. I think if you look at the crowd for our home opener, to see such a positive crowd on the first day was great. I think you're almost going into the unknown as a brand new organisation. So I always remember after myself and the coaching staff and the players, we were just really impressed with the noise of the supporters as well. So it was a great occasion for us.
Oh, sweet. Now our monitor's working great.
Refs are letting a lot of the physical play on in this game. Was that really a factor, or was it still the no excuse type of mentality for the guys on the field?
Yeah, no, for us, it was always a case of, we felt that with a good group of players that if people wanted to mix it, we were happy to mix it. If people wanted to play football, we'd play football. So for us, we felt as if we got a very strong mentality, got a good group, tough, both physically and mentally. You see Bucky here, he would power down the right wing, and obviously Fondy up front as well. And those two were a big combination for us in that first year.
Fondy's name was called a lot actually in the first half of this match as well. He had a lot of good chances and a lot of good press on goal as well. And overall, like for the inception of this club, how did you feel like the team meshed together, and what was like the core there like, especially in the locker room and into matches?
It was great, to be honest, and we'd got a great bunch. Really, I think the preseason galvanized the players. I mean, even Scott Goodwin there. I mean, he went on and gone into Harvard. But I think when you look at I would say the character of the players, absolutely fantastic. I mean, that preseason there was a lot of snow, so we 2 weeks where it was inside. And that's Fondy at his best there, getting on the shoulder of the defender and getting in behind. He was relentless in his ability to consistently run forward. But as I was saying, the pre-season there was a lot of snow on the ground, and I think that the pre-season ended up really galvanizing the group and brought a great togetherness, which was very important.
Another good tackle there to get the ball off for a restart. And like I said earlier, Matt Fondy's name was called quite a bit during this game. He was very relentless in terms of pushing the attack, leading the goal scoring for the league that year in my mind. What was it like to have a guy like him just press on and just start developing attacking maneuvers towards the net?
Yeah, I mean, he was a really pivotal player for us. I mean, he was, as I say, relentless in his, not just his ability to score goals, but his all-round game. I mean, physically very strong, great presence. He was the captain of the team and certainly led by example with his performances on and off the field. But very, very, I would say, willing worker. Great example to everybody. At that point, he was coming from an MLS team and he joined us. But you can see again, he's always looking to get.
Great run there.
Yeah, always looking on the always on the edge of that last defender and looking to break that line.
Scorer on the pitch. Take that yourself.
Another really physical play that was not whistled down for anything. That was a really consistent theme of this match so far, actually. Is a physical play that was just happening, which I personally am a fan of letting a play go on to an extent. It makes it a lot more entertaining too, because it's just guys battling to see who's the better man in that sense.
Yeah, no, I think for us it was a good, honest sort of, I would say, competitive game. I mean, there was, I would say, some maybe fouls that maybe would be given on another day, but I think both teams were happy to just get on with it and to play hard and fair. I think it ended up being a first game of what was a great rivalry. I think it still is. I think both sets of supporters have a great respect for each other. I know when both sets of supporters go to the opposing team's games, they try to meet up, and it's a rivalry in the right way. It's I think there's a healthy respect and definitely a healthy competition between both clubs.
It's a great way to put it. Another good run there, good physical play, but it's squashed.
That was Bucky at his best there, driving forward and trying to get in behind, and you've Fondy up, getting ready to prowl. And Magnus and Fondy, as a combination, they had a good little connection. They worked very well together and good understanding. Magnus obviously great ability to drop into midfield and then look to play Fondy or Bucky in behind. Again, you've got Niall there, great understanding, great football brain. So there's some lovely players there that actually have got good game understanding. And they're just great guys, really from a character perspective.
as pace did come way off his line.
Great footballers too. Did this first game and the result of it, as well as how the game actually played out with the physicality, really set the tone for the entrance into the league that, hey, Louisville City's here to stay and we're going to be fighting it to make it to the top?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was important for us to, I think, start off very well as a brand new organization. I think there was a lot of support locally where people were going to come out and sort of, see what we had to offer. So I think there was a tremendous amount of pride that we placed on the group to make sure that, we're not necessarily just playing for ourselves. We want to try to represent the city, and we want to make sure that, when people come to a game, they feel as if that the team is working and giving as much as they possibly can to go and get a result. So again, I feel with the group of players that we had, they had a real desire to want to go and win. And again, you look at them at times that Bucky picks that ball up and goes into Niall and then goes driving in behind. Yeah, relentless. And then Niall now locking on and trying to press. So again, I think that there was a great commitment from the players to want to go and not only get a result, but to make sure that they played at a good level. And I think when you look at the quality of the play as well, I remember we were speaking to the guys after, and it was a tough game, but I think for the players, they felt as if they'd actually passed the ball really well. Defensively, we get into a good shape and make it difficult for St. Louis. So I think there was a lot of positives from this game, especially being our first game as a brand new team.
For both these clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. The just pace that was for it to started off was just enumerate, and in the way that the attack was just tenacious. And then speaking of preparing for this first match, preseason this year was specifically a little different with the weather. Can you provide a little insight with that?
Yeah, so obviously we'd set out our pre-season, and most soccer teams will have a 6-week pre-season. So the coach will more than likely have his 6 weeks all lined up for what sessions you're going to do at the start, and for us it was the same. We'd our plan and everything was there, and then we woke up that particular morning, there was 8 inches of snow. So it was incredible. I remember we actually I jumped in my car and I met the assistant over at the apartments where the players were staying, and we had to do it in blocks of 2 and 3 and just utilize the apartment gym for the first day. So we then ended up on the Tuesday in Mockingbird, we were training at between 7 and 7:30 because that was the only time we could get in there. So that first 2 weeks was basically
great challenge there.
And, it was completely different to what a normal preseason will be.
Yeah, I mean, 8 inches is only doable to a certain capacity, and you got to make do with what you got. The first 2 preseason games were actually canceled that season, if I'm not mistaken there. And then there was 2, 4, there was 6 other ones that were played. Indiana Hoosiers, Louisville Cardinals, Kentucky Wildcats, Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders, SAU Cougars, and the Orlando SC as well.
We're in the heart of basketball country.
Yeah, so it was I think the SIU and the Orlando game actually was further down. So it was that ended up being played in August. That was a friendly, basically, just where they came and we got to play them. But the preseason, I mean, the snow just it didn't melt, for the whole 2 weeks. It was like
there's a goal right there from Charlie Adams. 67th minute, just an absolute shot from the top of the box.
It's a great finish. That was his weak foot. Again, very talented player. Fantastic finish. I think again it set the tone for the rest of the game. Then I think the players started to play with even more confidence. So it was important times. The goals came at great times for us.
2-0 City. Now we are around the 67th minute. If you are wondering why it's kind of skipping, we are using the ball and play mode to condense it a little bit. Because the actual original broadcast was very lengthy in a way, but we're using the ball and play for this one.
playing a bit conservative at times, and maybe it's just the
And then
personnel
with
more than
everything
anything,
that's
but
gone on
you
from
got to
you
take some
being
chances.
here
You
at
got
the
to try to
inception
get
of
out
the
in
club to
space.
now today, do you ever would have imagined that putting yourself in into the 2015 brain that the club would be at the spot today with Lynn Family Stadium awaiting an opening and just the development that has happened with the success of the team?
I think that's the ultimate goal was always to try to get into our own stadium. I think proof of concept had been, I would say, shown over the first couple of years. So I think for us that the plan was always to get the stadium. But if you'd have said to all of us then that we were going to get a world-class stadium in such a quick period of time, I think people would have just snapped your hand off, So it's absolutely incredible, really, when you look at the history of the club and how far it's come in such a very, very short space of time.
At least they didn't have Fondy.
And we're also very excited to get that going, and then we're also very excited to get the NWSL going as well. How is the NWSL going to be pivotal for the city, as well as making a mark that Louisville is a very diverse soccer city with both the men and women's side, as well as the birth of the youth academy headed by Mario Sanchez?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it'll be a key an integral part moving forward. I think what it does is it gives us an ability to be able to showcase talent, both male and female, and show the nation really that Louisville is a soccer town. I think with the onset of the academy as well, I think it's important for us to be able to point to both entities on the male and female side and have a pyramid system where you have an academy team on, if it's male or female, that players have an ability to go right the way up to the professional teams, on either side.
I mean, just exciting things have really spurred from the last couple of years with the club, and just the development has been incredible from the inception. How do you feel going into these next couple of years with the full development after getting the legacy established in what is this match, in the no excuses kind of mentality and building that type of culture right off the bat?
I think for us, it's just understanding the individual. I think whether you're working as a soccer coach or you're in the current role that I am. I think you're looking for people that display certain characteristics and understand culture and understand the importance of being a good team player. I think that was the biggest thing we always wanted from all the guys was the team has to come first, and that's something that's a key characteristic of any member of any Louisville organization. Everyone wants to make sure that they're working as a team.
Great challenge there. Shot high from St. Louis. Goes for the goal kick. There's been a lot of those shots high on both sides of the ball, actually, especially off the second ball too.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's funny when I'm watching this back, I look at Scott's distribution and just how good his feet are. So the amount of times where even a goal kick or it comes back to him and he pops it out to the opposite side. I mean, his distribution was excellent. Again, great character and fantastic leader for that particular group.
St. Louis under attack, clear ball in, and goalkeeper handles it easy, back out for a ball. I mean, the restarts were really quick as well. It was just a relentless type of gameplay. Was that part of the strategy for going into this? Just that relentless getting upfield and getting an attacking shot
yeah,
on?
no, we wanted to be pretty aggressive. Again, great challenge there. But now for us, we worked really hard in the preseason. We had a great level of fitness, so we wanted to dominate the game. We wanted to have the ball, and then if we didn't have it, we wanted to get it back as quickly as we possibly could. So I think when you look at even
right there, a frontline press it just tells you how relentless and how you wanted to get back on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it was something that was pivotal to how we wanted to play.
Great tackle, great challenge to win the ball back.
Yeah, you can see the level of commitment from the lads. The tackles, they're strong, they're fair. And then again, it comes out wide to
What a
Bucky and
run. What a
pounding in the
run.
wing again. So again, that's
the only way you can stop that is just take him out pretty much.
Yeah.
And then it's just
Pretty much,
like
yeah.
he's
playing an overall solid game.
just
he's
excellent run there.
It was great. Great to see because you're getting toward the latter part of the game and you still see him driving forward and powering on like that. It's great.
Yeah, there's no level of fatigue at all. It's a good recovery there from a possible costly turnover there.
Yeah. Again,
The
good
line,
ball from Connor. Angle.
the line play was very well done as well. They were good move on the outside. Ball still in.
Working with Pollock, and there's a LouCity player kind of down right now. Looks like Guzma. And a couple substitutions there.
Restart there for St. Louis. I mean, yeah, it's a whole. There's the press to get ball back is just relentless. Like you just see guys just shifting up and down lines, just trying to win that ball, and it's a great style of play. It prevailed from results. So, and then it's a great block on the front line there.
Yeah, no, you see the team works well. So when you see Matt and Magnus that are stepping, the back four are coming up in behind them as well. So there's good understanding of role and responsibility. I think just again at this stage, I think it was the guys wanted to make sure that we kept a clean sheet, but also wanted to try and garner another goal if they possibly could.
Do you think that that mindset from that idea of how that they're intermingling, especially with guys who are still on the team, Magnus and Niall, is still existing today, and that kind of contributes to the success that they've had in previous seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you've got players that have played together for a number of years, I think they obviously develop relationships. I think they've got good understanding of each other's games. I think a cultural aspect, I think, again, I would say at this point both boys have been serial winners. They've had great success within the league. So I think both of them get on really well and have, I would say, really evolved themselves. Hack's done a wonderful job with the group. I think they've also evolved. So I think the club is in a great spot, and we're all excited to get out in the new stadium and look forward to having our supporters in the brand new stadium.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the atmosphere whenever we can get that first game going in Lynn Family Stadium. We're just waiting on all fronts, I think.
Yeah, it'll make it all the sweeter for us.
Oh yeah, a little bit more special too, with such a interesting situation that we're presented with now, with what has happened.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it'll probably take a little bit of time just to get used to the new normal. But again, I think people will settle in, and it'll be exciting times for everyone.
Back to Adams. Trying to kind of pass it around here, and it looks like it bounced up and hit a hand almost from this angle. Adams again take a little break. I think he's earned it.
See the shape of even Tarek and Connor there. Good decision from Connor. Just drops off, knows he can't win it. So, and then great recovery from Juan and Bucky. Goes wide and then back into our shape and regain the ball. So really good.
the ref helped with the regain right there.
He did. It was a nice interception from the referee.
Another little restart on goal piece. St. Louis gets ball back. Just that first initial step right there by Brooks to get the ball back was just, you can see the level of play and just the tenacity that the guys have for, again, like you said, and like we've been talking about a lot, just winning that ball back. It's very fun to watch.
Yeah, no, there's real intent from the players, and again, good interception, regain. So I think, again, for us, it was always a case of you want to compete as hard as you possibly can, and if you do that and you happen not to win the game, well, we can all live with that. But when you look at, again, we're getting to the end of the game, Bucky high forward, now coming back into position. So I mean, the level of commitment that you see from all the players and the hard running that they're doing is great to see, and ultimately they earned a lot of respect for the way they played because of the level of commitment that they showed, and I think that really helped harness the passion with the supporters because they could see just how hard the guys were working.
So I don't know quite what it feels like, but you got to think the defense. You think it would benefit the offense to be attacking on the side with the artificial surface.
You could get a defender.
And at the time, did you think like this would be from taking it on a surface value when this said that we're getting a club? How did you think the city kind of rallied around it, considering you see that all the stands on the first baseline are just packed? Like, how was the city's response to it?
Tremendous excitement. I think people had been genuinely looking for a pro team to come to town, and the soccer, I think, was something that they definitely harboured. And you can see the Coopers there again, the flag and the numbers, and as you say, on the far side on the touchline. So it was very important for us in the very first game to make sure that we put on a bit of a show, not just to win the game, but to almost put a stamp down to show everybody who'd come to the game that they would want to come back. I think there was great excitement after the game because I think there was a buzz around the team, because people could see that there was good players and that we had the foundations of a good squad.
What did the gameplay from this kind of give the team? What did other teams really think about how to approach you guys? How to play against you guys, considering it's a very tenacious attack, very quick on the transitional moments from defense to offense, constantly winning the ball on the defensive side, and just maintaining that good defensive shape. Like, how is that contributed to success, and like how difficult was it for teams to like approach that kind of gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, I think teams found it hard. I mean, it would depend on the coach's sort of personality. Some would try to fight fire with fire. They would want to be aggressive. There was other teams that would go the opposite. They would want to sit deep, and because the field wasn't the biggest field, they would want to almost sit, try to protect the goal, and try to frustrate us, and then hit us on the break. So there was a few different approaches that teams would try. Again, for us, it was always a case of we need to stick to our game plan and make sure we focus on what we're trying to do and not worry about what the opponent is doing.
Second ball won by St. Louis there. Just the press to get to regain possession is it just shows on that specifically right there. It's just marked on them.
Yeah, no, as I say, I mean, we spoke a lot about commitment, and we wanted to high energy, and again, I think the amount of times you even hear that we're seeing the ball come to the right hand side, and you're seeing Bucky powering down the right hand side, Niall inside in the pocket. Great combination, good understanding from them too. Then you have Magnus and Fondy up front that would set the tone. Nate Polak and come on there as well. So just great character. I think when you look at the commitment that the players are showing, it's fantastic even now to watch.
Good run on the far side.
Yeah, good run. Blindside running behind. Good ball.
They're working for a corner here and
Niall trying to shield it right there on the corner.
Yeah, but again, you can see Connor stepping into the attacker regains. So St. Louis can't get out there. At that point, they're trying to get out. Connor steps in, and we still have 2v1 on the far side. So yeah, really good play, good understanding of the play.
To Adams putting some moves on.
Another regain for possession there.
Guy loses it. Now an opportunity opportunity here for St. Louis. The counter's on.
And again, you look at how quickly Burkey's back into position,
Yeah,
closes that speed.
Nice move there, just outside, but
right
a
on him.
beautiful save.
Great save there.
Big save for us at that time as well from Scott. You know, important save.
Came over to make sure
Traffic
it went
with
out
it
of
as
bounds.
well.
Excellent save there.
And I think that's going to do it for the game.
That's it. That's the game.
I think
We're gonna have a replay then. Again,
here's a replay of that save, actually. Big save there, Scott, with traffic in front of him. But I think that's going to wind it down for us. Ending result is going to be 2-0 in terms of City. First game win. How did that feel coming off of it?
Fantastic. I mean, for us, it was just it was a great sort of opening day. I think from a crowd perspective, then also from a technical perspective, I thought we were really pleased with the performance. I thought there was a great foundation for us to go on and, you know, I would say continue that over the course of the year and have a strong season.
Well, James, thank you again for watching this with me today, providing a little bit of insight, especially being the mind behind the tactics and stuff at the time.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate it. It was
any closing thoughts from you? Any messages you want to?
No, I mean, I just, again, I'm very grateful to all those players who represented us. I think even just watching that there, the commitment that the group of guys had was just, even now, was great respect to see the level of commitment that they had shown. I think tireless work from all the players there. So it was great to see.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into the flashback stream. The final score from this one, 2-0, LouCity versus St. Louis. Thank you to James and Magnus for providing commentary, and we will see you guys in the next flashback stream.